let's actually jump into a little of the kind of nuts and bolts. What would you say the first like 2 or 3 steps, the first things that a founder really wants to focus in on as they write out get the campaign going, brainstorm, get it going, and start putting in some sales activity?
I wouldn't even do a campaign. That's the last thing I would do. I think the first thing that somebody needs to do is create a really, really deep, really super extensive customer profile. They need to create a customer profile that is so specific that when you read it to someone, people think it's a real person. They feel like they know them. And I think that that's step number one, is going through that exercise, because you don't want to get on the phone or face to face or anything with anybody and try to convince them that they have a pain that you don't know and don't understand.
Right.
And so even if you've never been in your customer's shoes, you can learn and understand about their pain by going through the exercise of creating a very deep and intensive customer profile.
And could you review maybe just a real world example, even from your business, just, how did you, in a very short little quick time, like how did you get to that customer profile, the name, the description, all that stuff?
Yeah, well, so, I didn't create it until after having worked with a couple people for a little while, but it wasn't like, you don't have to go years in or anything until you create it. But I had a couple customers. I had a general idea of what they were like. And then honestly, I kind of sat down, and it was like a journaling activity in a way. And, my customer profile, I created off this, her name is Paige, and she's 35 years old, and, she is, stretched super thin. She's a founder of her business. She's been in business for 2 years. She lives in a apartment. She's dating a guy named Chad. He's very supportive, but he gets frustrated. They didn't get to see her very often, and kind of going on and on. And then, when you get to the parts where you're like, this is getting, what's her fears, what's her pains, you just have to kind of sit quietly with it and be like, what is she worried about? What is that? And be really super honest with yourself and be like, she's incredibly scared of failing, because she does not want her family and friends, who are already so concerned because they're not entrepreneurs, they don't understand what she's doing, and they want to support her, but they don't get it. And she doesn't want them to worry about her. She doesn't want them to, and she doesn't want that ultimate failure and everyone to say, I told you so. And she has to go back to the corporate world with her tail between her legs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
With, a trail of financial ruin behind her and her dreams crushed. That's sort of the exercise you need to go down. And, then we have an enterprise customer, and her name is Rebecca, and she's a creative director, and I've created that whole thing for her too. So now, whether I'm walking the trade show floor of a show, or whether I'm on the phone talking to Paige, I can speak to these customers. And I'm not exactly saying like, I know what you're worried about at night, but there's a sense of understanding and empathy that can come through your voice when you know what they're going through.
Yeah. I think that's incredible.